Morning, my spiritual awakenings, honey. It is time to get up and wake that spirit man up. Get that spirit man revived. Get the word of God, and just get to a place where we are woke, not in the flesh, not naturally, but spiritually woke. So I am sitting out here in the parking lot of Chick-fil-A. Chick-fil-A, is a sister hungry? Maybe. It's Sunday. Everybody knows Chick-fil-A is closed on Sundays, but when God gives us a word and gives us revelation, for any of my people that God has ever given a word, sometimes you got to look foolish. Sometimes people riding past, I know they looking over here, whoa, hold up, there's a car in Chick-fil-A, is it open? No, that's just a crazy woman sitting over there in the parking lot, because this is where I have been led to this morning to talk about the next commandment. And the next commandment is in Exodus chapter 7, Exodus 27 through 11. Remember the Sabbath day to keep it holy. I have been so waiting to talk about this, because this commandment has been ringing in my soul. I mean, it's been ringing like I couldn't even sleep last night. You know what I'm saying? It's heavy. Remember the Sabbath day to keep it holy. 6 days. Listen what God is saying. 6 days thou shalt labor and do all thy works, but the seventh day is the day of the Lord thy God. In it thou shalt not do any work, nor thy son, nor thy daughter, nor thy manservant, thy maidservant, the cattle, the stranger within the gates. For in 6 days the Lord made heaven and earth, the sea, and all that is within it. And on the seventh day, wherefore the Lord blessed the seventh day and hallowed it out. So 6 days. Work, honey. Read. I know, work. 1 day. Rest. Hollow it out. Sanctify it. Set it apart. What does that mean? What does that mean? Okay, so if you go to the New Testament, in the New Testament, Mark 12, there was a question that was asked, what is the greatest commandment? And Jesus goes on to explain the greatest commandment is to love the Lord thy God with all thy heart, all thy mind, all thy soul, and love your neighbor as you love yourself. You know, if you fulfill those two commandments, pretty much you have fulfilled it all. You have fulfilled the law. You fulfilled the commandment. If you could just do those two. So then in the New Testament, if Jesus says, if we just follow those two, how does that apply to the Old Testament? Because number one, if we love the Lord thy God with all of our heart, all our mind, all our soul, and love our neighbor as we love ourselves, you have no problem. It is easy to fulfill the commandment. It's easy to not murder. It's easy to not steal. It's easy to not commit adultery. It's easy to keep the Sabbath day and bring back to remembrance the things that God have done on that day. It's easy to not worship other gods and worship. It's easy. It's easy when you do that. But how does that apply to us? How does that apply to us to keep the Sabbath day? We are in quarantine, so we really have no choice. But when things go back to normal, there are people who work on Sundays. There are people who, like, they work 7 days a week. There are people who don't work 7 days a week, but like I said, they don't have a Sunday off. So God, how does this apply? How does this apply? Keeping the Sabbath day and all this good stuff. This reminds me, the New Testament, when Jesus said that to love the Lord thy God with all thy heart, thy soul, thy mind. This reminds me when I got married. Before I got married, when I started dating my husband, there were some things that my husband was doing that I did not agree with. So when he first approached me and we got into that space of we want to date, I said, listen, baby, you don't have to give me no detail of your lifestyle, your former lifestyle, none of that. I don't need no detail. But if you're going to be with a woman like me, if you're going to be with a woman like me, there are certain things that I will not tolerate. And I'll just leave it at that. When my husband married me, he loved me so much, he put those things off. And that's what Jesus was saying in the New Testament. Even though he still wanted to do those things, you know what I'm saying? It was hard. It was a struggle for him to let those things go. He did it because he loved me. And that's what Jesus was saying. If you really love me, there are just certain things that you will not do. So if we can take it back to Genesis chapter 2, okay? All of this is going to tie in and why I'm sitting out here looking crazy at Chick-fil-A, okay? So if you go back to Genesis chapter 2, God created everything in 6 days. The heavens, the earth, and all the herbs and all that he created. He 6 days he worked. And on the 7th day he rests. Why did God rest on the 7th day? Listen to the words that I'm going to say very, very closely. The 7th day was a day for him to remember. The 7th day was a day for him to sit back and look at and behold the beauty of creation. The 7th day was a day where he could just sit back and say, you know what? Everything that I made was good. He had to take into remembrance all of those 6 days of working and really sit back and meditate. Okay, so if we go to Exodus, why did Moses have to etch in stone? Why did the children have to understand that they needed a 7-day to rest? Didn't say which day. Let's go ahead and put that out there. Didn't say which day. You know, we do it on Sunday. Didn't give no specific day. It specifically said 6 days, 1 day rest. Your 1 day could be Tuesday. Mine could be Sunday. Your 1 day could be Friday. Mine could be Saturday. 6 days. Just give one to me. The reason why God had to instruct the children to give a day is because when the children were in Egypt and they were slaves, children didn't have a day of rest. The children did not have a day. They worked 7 days, blood, sweat, and tears, being beat in bondage, 7 days of bondage. So when God frees these children, listen to me, honey, we are bringing this home. When he frees these children, okay, and gets them out in the wilderness into their new norm, okay, he says, take 1 day and just remember. That's all I need you to do. Take 1 day and remember. 6 days was work. But for the children of Egypt, I just need you to go back down memory lane and remember how I saved you. Remember the miracles. Remember everything, the signs and wonders that I did. And give that day to me to sit back and just thank God for what he's done. Whew, okay, now that you've said all that, preacher, how do we bring that to today? What's going on now? The 7th day, how do we keep that holy? The Bible says not only keep it holy, sanctify it. What does it mean to sanctify? Simply set apart. Set apart. I don't want nothing to move on the 7th day. Sanctify it, set apart, and hollow it out. That means that, oh man, this is so awesome. God etched that. God took 1 day, okay? I'm going to tell you what God did for this day. That's why we should sacrifice this day. He hollowed out one specific day and blessed it. Whew, honey, we're going deep. Stay with me. He hollowed out 1 day, sanctified it, and blessed it. Do you know what it means to be blessed? Do you know what it means for your family to be blessed? For your finances to be blessed? For your life to be blessed? Think about it. Think about moments in your life where God blessed you. Take your mind back. Check that account, money was in there. Apply for that job, he opened that door. Went and the car lots and people pull paperwork. They pull paperwork. And you had all kind of stuff on your paperwork, but God cleared that so you can get that house, so you could get that car. He blessed you with a peace of mind in the midst of chaos. God did something for you that cannot even be explained. That's what it means to be blessed. And he says for one day, yeah, I take care of you and watch over you but for one day, there's a specific day that I'm going to rain down heaven on you. What's important for me in regards to this day? God say, all I want you to do is take one day and remember what I've done for you. Just like I rested after I created everything, just like the children had to rest after I blessed them and took them out of bondage, I need you to take one day, set it apart, sanctify it, honey, hollow it out, honey, and remember what I've done. I'm literally sitting here outside of Chick-fil-A because this is where I was brought to. And I'm looking at how out of all the businesses, okay, yeah, we in quarantine, but I'm talking about when the world was just pumping. Chick-fil-A closed down on a Sunday. Closed down, nobody working, nobody doing nothing. You come to this parking lot, honey, nobody's out here. And 6 days a week. Ooh, honey, let me put my stuff aside before I start shopping in this car. God wraps the cars around the building. God, honey, I don't care what competition come to Chick-fil-A, Popeyes, ain't nobody thinking about you, Otis. Nobody thinking about Popeyes no more. Chick-fil-A's cars 6 days a week is wrapped around the building. I ride past and I'm hating, but I'm smiling. 6 days a week, I ride past Chick-fil-A and I'm hating because I'm like, dang, I can't even get in there. I want a sandwich. I can't even get in there. You know what I'm saying? But I'm smiling because I'm like, man, that's a blessed place. Why? Because they shut everything down one day. One day, let everything off, and 6 days, God bless. God is saying, honey, if you can sacrifice one day, honey, I'll have your life looking like Chick-fil-A, honey. I'll have your blessings wrapped around the building, honey. 6 days a week, honey. I'll make sure you don't go without. I'll make sure, honey, your barns are filled. You know what's so awesome about God? Yeah, God, I want that Chick-fil-A blessing. I want it. Bring it, honey. I want it, honey. Send it. I want that chicken coming out the window, honey. Cars wrapped around. Honey, I want my parking lot so filled nobody can get in. You know what's so awesome about God? He asks for so little and gives so much. How can a God love us that much to ask for so little and give so much? How can he ask for, or as the Old Testament say, and I know people are going to come at me with this, New Testament don't talk about tithing. Okay, that's cool, but you know what? I still, the Bible say, try him, honey. Try him and watch he open up the windows of heaven and pour you out a blessing you don't have room enough to receive. How can he just ask for 10% and bless us with 100? How can he just ask to sacrifice one day and he bless the whole day? Bless 6 days. Bless it, bless it, bless it. God asks for so little and gives so much. Remember the Sabbath day, baby. Keep it holy. Sanctify it. Set it apart. Maybe you have to go to a beach. Maybe you got to sit out in your yard and look up at the sky. Maybe like I say, your Sabbath day could be your one day could be a Wednesday. Maybe you missed church on Sunday. We in quarantine, but I'm talking about when the world get back pumping. Maybe you missed a Sunday. Maybe you couldn't make it. Whatever. That's cool. Then ask for a specific day. He say take one day. Maybe you got to sit out in your yard. Sit on the beach. Go to your place and say, God, you know what? I didn't forget. I didn't forget. The same way you created the heavens and the earth, I have not forgot what you did for me. I have not forgot how you brought me out of bondage. You know what that does? It brings us to a place of humility. It says to God, I acknowledge who you are. And boy, when we acknowledge God, we fall so in love with God, honey, everything else falls into place. Everything else falls into place. One day I challenge you. One day, Old Testament commandments, New Testament, new day living. New living, honey. New living. Apply that. One day, blessings upon blessings upon blessings upon blessings. This is a blessed day for me. For somebody else, it may be tomorrow. This is a blessed day to take this day and just give it to God and say, God, I didn't forget. I didn't forget what you've done. God is so good. You guys stay tuned in. Continue to follow. Continue to reverence God. Continue to acknowledge God. Continue. And yeah, I know there's some of us, we do it 6 days a week, but God say one. One day I have just hollowed out. I can't even get off that. I got to end this video. I can't get off. He say one day, you don't even know what you about to walk into that one day. Just sacrificing to me. Just thanking me. You don't even know what you are about to walk in. Line wrapped around the building. Close. But tomorrow, honey, line wrapped around the building. I want that Chick-fil-A blessing, honey.